This life is full of confusion. I don't even know why I'm here. Everyone seems to be prettier and smarter. I never seem to fit in. Until I met this man named Jesus. He said he will never leave me nor forsake me. His love never ends. Now that I have Jesus, I'm completed by his love and grace. For someone to love me enough to die for my filthy sins, I can't describe to you how good it feels. That love I'll take. To finally not be afraid at night, or to be lost, rejected, and easily abandoned. Because of the love of Jesus Christ, now I finally know who I am. My story is full of ups and downs, twists and turns. I grew up with my mother and father until around the age of 10 years old. But as some of us know, sometimes marriages don't last. So around 10, my father left us, and it would have never prepared us for all the pain, the hurt, insecurity I was getting ready to be introduced to. Because my father left, my mom had to play the role of a mother and a father, working and going to school, a lot of leaving me to myself, and my brothers open to a world we were clueless about. My older brother began to sexually abuse me when my father left home. I didn't know someone was doing the same thing to him until we were older and we were adults. I went to church as a young girl and loved Jesus so much, but I was full of hurt and pain and started drifting away from God. I started cutting myself at the age of 10 or 11 years old in my arms and in my forehead. I would use stuffed animals to get the feeling I got when I was being wrongfully touched, or just hurt myself because I hated myself so much. My mother was nothing more, I don't know what age children we have, I'll just say the letter. My mother was nothing more than a bee to me because she wouldn't let me hang out with my friends who were having sex, drinking, and doing drugs. So she moved me and my younger brother away to Window Rock, Arizona on an Indian reservation where we were the only black people in school. I got made fun of a lot, but started to get more rebellious. You see, I never felt like I knew truly who I was. So I had a hard time trying to fit in. With my father leaving us, abuse starting, and now everything I knew as a child ending, I grew worse and worse with sex, drugs, and drinking. We got in so much trouble in Arizona, my mother moved us to Gallup, New Mexico. I fit in a little bit more there than the Indian reservation. But I hung out with gang members, drank, and I even gave my virginity away at school under a trailer while school was going on. Or what I called my virginity. I hated me. Any attention someone gave me, I took it. I hungered for my mother's love, writing her letters telling her she didn't have to buy me anything else, just to spend time with me. At 14, I tried to commit suicide and was admitted into the hospital. I was asked if I wanted a counselor, but for whatever reason, I knew that I would never do that again. At age 15, I became pregnant with my first son. At age 18, I became pregnant with my daughter. And at age 22, I was pregnant with my youngest son. I never stopped partying when I had my children, but I can say I drank once and smoked weed once while I was pregnant. That was good for me back then. So that's nothing to be proud of, but I'm glad I didn't do more with everything that I was doing back then. I was with my boy's father for 9 years, where it was an abusive relationship physically and verbally the whole time. I had already had gonorrhea, trichomonas, and chlamydia numerous times. At one point, I thought I had herpes. My lifestyle of sex, drugs, and drinking didn't start until I had a dream. I was in a clinic and they told me I had HIV. That was the most real dream I had ever had. That morning, I cried out to God and told him I would do whatever he wanted me to do and go wherever he wanted me to go. I just wanted to live. I love my children too much to die, even though I didn't know how to love myself. I was invited to go to church by my cousin. I got saved and never looked back after that. It's been 12 years. I've been living for Christ, and I never will stop with God's help. I've learned to love me for all the beauty God's put in me and through me. I've been healed of my childhood memories of rejection, confusion, and abuse. I have a loving husband who treats me the way I'm supposed to be treated, 10 children altogether, and a grandchild on the way. If you feel lost, rejected, hurt, or looking for love, Jesus Christ loves you more than even your mother or your father. Psalm 27:10 says, "Even if my mother and father abandon me, the Lord will hold me close." So with that, I've been through a lot of things, and that was just a short little piece of what I've been through. I've been married and divorced once before, where the abandonment was even more, was brought up. The things that I had been healed of, trying to rehash and breaking. My husband, we were married probably about 4 years at the time, decided to walk out on me and my children. They weren't his children. We were all supposed to move to Arizona. Not to Arizona, but to Virginia. And he left and he went to prepare for us. But he decided that he didn't want anything to do with us anymore. Where I didn't see him for 3 years after that. So the pain and hurt of my childhood, that's what the enemy uses against me, is rejection. Anytime something happens, if I feel rejected, it makes me want to rebel. And a lot of you may feel that way too. Rebellious if you feel rejected, or if you feel like you're not being loved. Even if you don't love yourself, girl or boy. Because there's a lot of fatherless boys, there's a lot of motherless girls, and vice versa. But I can tell you that my father lives, my biological father lives, probably no more than 10 minutes away from here in Lima. And I don't see him, just like I didn't see him when I was a little girl. But God healed me to the point of where I don't even think about my biological father. And that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's where a lot of my pain and hurt came from. So I just want to let you know that whatever it may be, it doesn't matter what it is, God is able to heal you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the herpes thing. I believe that I did have herpes. I really do believe I did have it. I really do. But I cried out to God to heal me. I cried out, and I believe that He healed me. I believe that. And I don't have anything. But I believe I had it. I had all the signs and symptoms of that. All of it. So to all the young ladies and all the young men, I tell my kids this all the time. Sex is fun. Okay, can I keep it real? I'm sorry. Thank you. Sex is fun, okay? God made sex. So you're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to enjoy it. But he made it for a certain time with a certain somebody that he's created to be with you. It's not for everybody that you feel like having sex with. It's not for everybody. And there is a consequence to having sex outside of marriage. I still pay the consequence today from having my children at a young age. It's still hard, and I have good kids. And I thank God every day. I have a son this year who will be 20. And some of you know who he is. But he's graduating from college this year. They've always been honor students. My daughter who's having a baby, she is having a baby, and she's still in high school. But she's still graduating a year early. And this is before she knew she was having a baby. They're smart kids. My youngest baby, who's 14, is so smart. They're good kids. So I'm telling you this because no matter how far that you've gone, God is still able to repair you. He's able to heal you no matter what you've done. No matter how far off you think that you've gotten. You will pay a price. Don't get me wrong, because what you reap is what you sow. And there's things that I'm still reaping, even from a child to now, from being rebellious and not listening when somebody told me to listen. I always give my children this picture that life is like a highway. And when you go down the highway, there's lots of signs on the way when you're trying to get to your destination. Some signs say stop, some signs say go, some signs tell you how far it is to get to a certain place. But if you get off of the path that you're supposed to go to, then what happens? You get lost. And you don't want to get lost. You want to stay on the straight and narrow path. You don't want to get to the right and you don't want to get to the left. Because I always say one bad decision can take you out so much further than what you thought that you were going to go. You might think that taking that drink at a party is fun. But what if somebody slipped something inside of your drink that you didn't know about? And you're getting raped by 5 different guys, young ladies. Or you might think, young men, that having sex with this girl, oh, she looks good, it's so much fun, I'm finna get it in. Yeah, you finna get it in, all right. But maybe one day my husband, who has 7 children, can tell you how it feels to take care of 7 kids with child support. It's no joke. And those kids, the youngest one is 5 or 6, 15 down to 6 years old. And a lot of them are back to back. But you don't think he's still reaping from having sex out of marriage? And some of them were in marriage, don't get me wrong. But there's a price to pay for every single action that you do. Everything. Nothing goes unseen from God's eyes. Nothing. And it's just it's a law in the earth that everything will have seed, time, and harvest. Even if you don't see it today, you will see it one day. Even if it's in your children, you're going to see something from what you've done. My children have had to suffer because A part of it was I chose to be a welfare mother. I chose that life because I wanted to raise my own kids because I didn't trust anybody else. So because of what happened to me. So I stayed home and I raised my kids physically and my mom took care of them financially. But you don't think that they sometimes didn't get upset because we didn't have the best car driving up to school? Not that that matters. Or that when they needed something for football or something and I didn't have it, you don't think that they felt bad? Like some of you guys might feel bad when you don't have something because your parents are struggling? Some of those things can be avoided if you do things the right way. Not that you won't ever struggle, don't get me wrong. There's nothing perfect. Nothing is ever perfect, even if you choose to do it the right way. So, with that being said, me and my husband kind of felt, well, he felt it. I don't know if you mind, if he could piggyback kind of off of me. Okay. And I want him to kind of tell the man side of what I'm saying, okay? Is that okay with you guys? All right. And I like